Welcome to Edussentials, where we don't just revise, we master. Today's question is, what is graphology? Before we start, visit our website and shop our AS and A-Level English Language Mastery Workbook and our flashcards. Use Lang10 as a code for 10% off all A-Level products. Alright, let's shift focus slightly. If phonology is about how a language sounds, then graphology is about how language looks. Graphology is the study of the visual features of a text, how it's presented on the page or screen, and how those choices create meaning and effect. Now, this is where students often underestimate things because they think it's just layout. But it's not. Graphological choices are deliberate, just like word choice. So let's start simple. Think about this. On the screen, you can see stop written in 3 different ways. It's the same word, but they have completely different effects. The first stop, with capitals, sounds urgent, aggressive, and commanding. The second stop, which is just normal, punctuated normal with the correct amount of capitals, is just neutral. And the third stop, with ellipsis after, sounds hesitant, trailing, and uncertain. That's graphology, shaping meaning. Now let's break down what graphology includes. So the first one is capitalisation. It creates emphasis and can signal shouting or importance. For example, the first sentence says, I told you already. The second sentence is the same, but all in capitals. It almost sounds like it's saying, I told you already. Next is punctuation. It shapes rhythm and tone. For example, when you have short sentences, it creates tension or urgency. When you use ellipsis, it creates hesitation or ambiguity. And the use of exclamation marks shows excitement or intensity. Layout and structure. We're talking about paragraphing, line breaks, spacing. Think about poetry or even social media posts. One-word lines gives emphasis, large gaps creates pause or silence. Next is typography, especially online. So we're talking about bolds, italics, fonts, emojis. And here's an example. Using italics adds emphasis. The capitalization, the second example, intensifies the word important. And the emoji on the third point, it adds emotional meaning. So let's look at a quick example. It says, I don't know. That ellipsis shows hesitation. The repetition suggests uncertainty. Graphologically, the pauses reflect how someone might actually speak. Now let's push this further. A-level thinking. Graphology is especially important in multimodal texts such as adverts, websites, social media, spoken transcripts, and creative writing, because meaning isn't just in the words, it's in how those words are presented. For example, in an advert, you might see bold text which draws attention, large fonts which signals importance, and colour which can suggest mood or branding. Even something as simple as limited time only in all capitals, it creates urgency through capitalization and layout. So why is graphology important? Because it helps you analyze how texts guide the reader's attention, how meaning is visually constructed, and how tone and emotion are reinforced. At A level, this is what pushes you into perceptive analysis because you're not just reading, You're seeing how meaning is designed. So how do we analyse graphology properly? Same structure, just don't overcomplicate it. Number 1, identify the feature. So look for capitalisation, punctuation, layout, visual emphasis. Describe what it does by asking yourself, what stands out visually? How does it affect the reading experience? And finally, link to meaning and effect. This is key. Ask yourself, why has the writer done this? And what does it suggest about tone, purpose, or audience? So let me model this for you. I could say, the use of capital letters in stop creates a sense of urgency and command, positioning the reader to respond immediately. I could also say, the ellipsis in I don't know reflects hesitation, suggesting uncertainty and making the speech feel more natural and authentic. So final thought, graphology is where language becomes visual meaning. It's not just what the text says, it's how it looks while saying it. So when you analyze a text, don't ignore the page, read it with your eyes as well as your mind, because that's what takes your analysis from basic to perceptive and sophisticated.